And I do have the recording queued up. Let's see if we can actually make this happen correctly today.
Welcome to Everyone Racers,
a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture.
It doesn't matter what kind of limit champ or lucky track dog league you run.
SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate.
as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself.
Join us each week for tech discussions, tips,
tricks, as well as news and notes from the world of amateur endurance racing.
And whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, or we're lucky enough, and Chrissy,
and I give you just the tip.
We're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less.
Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mental.
And I almost did it right.
So close.
Wow, 250 episodes, and you almost got it right. Oh, this is Everyone Racers. Welcome to an whatever episode of our podcast. And I'm sure you already knew this, but in Chinese slang, the number 250 means idiot. Apparently, there are streets in China that actually skip the house number 250. They're really pretty serious about this. So don't be an abao. Get your bingo card out, and you could win nothing, but maybe some cred. Yep. What you working on? No? Yes? I didn't even read yours because I wrote mine. What you working on? Jeff.
Okay, I'll go. I had 4 days off. So almost the entire time since we've last seen each other.
Wow.
I was at the beach doing actual vacation things. So yeah, so it was fun. My son's 14th birthday. Happy birthday, Josh, just happened. So we came
I'm sure
home.
he's a listener, avid listener.
Sometimes, actually.
No. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Josh.
I mean, if I'm in the car and I play it for him, let's be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, so he had his 14th birthday here when we got back. So there was lots of house cleaning and pool cleaning, and I had to mow the lawn, and then kid wrangling. I had to toss hot wings and go get pizza and all that other fun stuff. So that's what I was doing. Not exciting.
Kid wrangling? Is he even a kid anymore? I think he qualifies as a young adult.
Teener wrangling, which means I had to make sure to use the correct first names when they were at the party, but since they're not out to their parents, use the given dead names when their parents showed up. Like,
oh goodness,
Sophia. Yes, we need a preferred name policy for our Boy Scout troop, without a doubt. Anyway, what are you working on, Chrissy?
Wow. Not a whole lot. Chris will talk about other things that at least some part of our family is doing something around this house. I'm doing nothing. We went to the Cape for the weekend, which was lovely. We drove up and
you didn't take the new Escalade.
No. I guess Chris can tell the story, but we drove up in 2 separate cars and we deposited the boat. And yep. So we didn't do much over the weekend, and we came back, and it's busy as always. Plenty of things going on at work and all that good stuff. So nothing interesting here. Mental, what are you up to?
Just got back from Gingerman for the second Lemons race. I was exposed to COVID, and I'm still negative.
I don't believe it.
That's crazy.
I don't believe it. Are you actually testing?
This time I actually tested, and nope. Asymptomatic. I'm wearing a mask at work. Vicky's a little annoyed, but yeah. So
you probably had it and kicked it, and that's why you're asymptomatic before.
Yep. But Vicky would have caught it before, and she would have tested and popped. And
if you're all vaxxed up, asymptomatic is the place to be.
I suppose
if you can get one of those, it's a good gig.
It's a good gig. Just today, I am now excursionless because young Stankinator came up from Arizona and picked up his truck. Unfortunately, I got pulled into a meeting, so I basically parked it outside the base and left the keys in it, and he's taking it back to Arizona. I'll see him after the weekend, and the new Thunderhill wrap-up video dropped, and that's going to be my last one probably for a little while.
Yeah,
I'm in
watched
that one
it today at my desk.
And I can take zero credit for any of that. That was actually all written by Nick, which is probably why it's so funny. I did do the opening bit with the, oh yeah, but that was my contribution.
There you go.
Chris, I believe you're the only one left.
Mm-hmm. So the reason we didn't take the Escalade to the Cape to bring the boat up to the Cape is because we have sold the Suburban to AJ from CISO Motorsports, and they're in Massachusetts. So I towed the boat up with the Suburban and the title and everything, and we met him and Damien from CISO, who he drove him over in his R32 Skyline GTR.
Nice.
So that was fun
Oh.
to see.
It was awesome. Super.
They're cool, but the time I've spent driving them with extreme experience,
Well, the R32 is a little different than the current
is.
like Maxima that basically,
yeah.
the R32. I mean, it's what, early 90s. I mean,
The
it's
R32 is the
peak
one.
Japan.
Yeah, is peak Japan, but
so that was cool. So they picked that up on Sunday right before we left. So that's why didn't bring the Escalade, but it's all right. Saved him a whole trip down here, which is nice to do.
You're
So
already
he's got
going
that.
there.
He's happy about it. That's great.
I argue it's a proper send off for the mighty Canyonero that has served you so well.
And on its way to the Cape, it decided that he was going to turn the heated seats on all the time. Like I turned it off.
This is not
come
the
back
first.
on,
This is
turn
not
it
the first
off,
time
come
it
back.
happened.
It's the second time ever. It's the
I
first
told
time
you it
I'm like,
happened.
oh,
You're like, turn it off. Suck it up.
Right.
Your butt's hot.
First
It's
time it's
cool.
a fluke. Second time on a 7-hour trip that they keep coming on.
Whatever.
It's a driver's door module. So I ordered a new one on Rock Auto and shipped it to AJ. Say, hey, sorry about that. Parts
Yep,
on
no,
the way.
your truck is mad.
It should be happy. It's going to a new life.
The Range Rover got to move to Oklahoma. The Mercedes got to move to Nevada. I'm going to Massachusetts. This sucks.
Hey, it's going to have a good life.
Yeah, it's going to a
More-
fellow racer to tow more
Right.
race cars. I mean, that's
Seriously.
awesome.
Come on,
It's just gonna-
Yukon. Get your head out of your.
It's going to keep towing
exhaust
other
pipe.
people's. Just keep towing Civics to races. Like how
It-
bad
and
can
it's-
this
it won't
be?
even know
It's
the
going to be
difference.
loved.
Right.
It's going to be
Yeah.
loved and cared for.
Exactly. Other than that, once we got home, I've been working on the Corvette, trying to get that ready for the rally. That's mostly been doing window regulators and motors and finding out that someone, some point in this car's life, has replaced the driver's side window regulator assembly with a later model C4 assembly. So the initial part I ordered from Rock Auto didn't fit, and I got all mad. Well,
It's like
Wasn't
so mad.
right, it wasn't Rock Auto's
I'm
fault.
never doing Rock Auto again.
Right.
And I was like, so that's not a thing
Well, 'cause
because
they wouldn't
Rock
take
Auto
it
is
back.
great.
Because the box had been opened.
Oh, that's annoying.
Right. They wouldn't take it back because the box was open. That was really annoying. But I mentioned I got the right one, got that drive started working, and then been doing a stereo installation. And this Corvette had the optional
I hate
Delco
to be
Bose
rude,
system.
but
Yes.
did you at least get a magnet you didn't already have?
No,
No,
I know. Right.
he's got them.
I mean, have you seen our door?
Right.
We do have like
Collect them
most
all.
of them.
So this has the Delco Bose stereo, which as the premium option at the time has the Bose boxes in each door and in the back, but each one has its own amplifier. So to do a new stereo, it's not like, well, I'll just plug in new speakers and plug in a new deck and go. No, you have to remove these giant assemblies, take them apart, and you have to run completely new speaker wires because it's a whole different system. So if you're going to do that, well, I might as well put an amp in it too. So I shopped the Crutchfield outlet.
I love Crutchfield. I haven't
Right, so
got a
like-
Crutchfield like mail. They used to be the greatest thing when you
Yeah.
get that in the
Oh
mail.
my God. Like you could flip through that catalog and just dream for days.
Yeah. So I shopped Crutchfield outlet and I got an amp on Amazon. So I think I'm into it's a 400-watt amp and some MTX Dominator speakers,
Hell yeah!
Right. right?
Oh,
6x9s in the
yes.
back and
You
6
guys
and a
are
half inch
funny.
separates in the front, and a 400-watt amp and a JVC Bluetooth stereo. Like this, I
Love's
did
gonna
not go
get
Oh yeah, that Dokken album is gonna sound so good.
exactly.
It's
So I've
funny.
run-
Like you went to there and I went with. Never mind.
Yeah, we'll play Poison.
I did end up.
Anyway, so the been working on that. It's a lot of work to like recreate all of the things in this whole stereo system. And GM and their infinite wisdom with side terminal batteries makes it so you can't really connect an amplifier to the battery because stupid side terminal batteries.
If I recall correctly, it was for a hood clearance issue, which for the early model C4s made them very susceptible to theft because all you had to do was drill where that battery
not-
was mounted
It's-
into
well, they do it
the
in-
battery.
Yeah,
drain
it's
the
right.
battery.
It's on the side of the battery's right in the corner, but there's
Yeah.
plenty of hood clearance. And and GM puts these in everything. I mean, they put them in Suburbans, they put them in everything. Like, it's just the GM is the only one that does side terminal batteries because they're stupid. Makes things like this harder. Anyway.
Side terminals are dumb. I'm gonna say it right there. And before the early '90s, late '80s hip hop jihad comes get me, it was Boogie Down Productions, not NWA. Sorry.
Okay. Thanks.
Why are you so wrong?
It happens. Keith Coleyboss, my freshman year roommate, took the big stereo bass box out of his trunk and put it in our dorm room and played that song nonstop. I can sing every word. Notes time.
So everybody likes a piggy bank, right? Well, have you heard of the new feature that is that should have been thought of a long time ago? The 2023 Cadillac Lyric, spelled with a Q, which is dumb. So serious. I'm like, what? This is what we come up with when we run out of car names. Installed a feature into their back seats that should not be news, but it's pretty smart. James Gilboy at The Drive asked the interior designer about the new features. And he says, when I asked him to show me any Easter eggs he'd hidden in there, the 2022 GMC Hummer EV is full of them. So surely the Lyric has them too. He pointed to a spot inside the seat pillar at a little slot at the edge of the seat. No, it's a place to deposit your loose change. Not that anyone who can afford a luxury EV cares about scrimping and saving on every last nickel. Instead, it's just a place to insert the back seatbelt buckle before folding the seats flat so they don't catch the seatbelts, and which makes things tricky. As an owner of a wagon my whole life, putting seats down fairly often, I think this is pretty ingenious.
Not to mention the Suburbans, our GMT 400. All of us have had those. That was always a pain. And even the Excursion that is now giant pain. What a brilliant idea. It's like Dorito taco shells. Why did it take us so long to think of that?
Right. I spent some time.
Wait, Professor Jeff is here. Professor Jeff.
I have to read the notes sometimes. I spent a long time in 15-passenger vans because I work for a college. The GM extended van had like the seatbelt that would get in the way of all the back people.
Yep.
And it had a hook up top. It looked like a clothing hook. But it was a hook for the thing. But they still screwed it up because there was no way to detach it without pushing the blade into the seatbelt. That was terrible.
Yep.
Screw you, GM.
Yeah, I thought this was pretty good. Should look it up. It's news in our link in our show notes. You could talk. Tell us about this, but you'd have to turn yourself on mute.
It helps if I unmute. Well, I didn't want to cough into the microphone. Grassroots Motorsports is a long-standing source of inspiration and advice. And this week, JG Pasterjack, who we hosted on this podcast, we actually mutually did a podcast crossover thing once, and he wrote a piece about
7 years ago. That was a long time.
It was
ago.
fairly early on. He wrote a piece about building versus buying, aptly titled, "You Have No Excuse Not to Be Making Stuff," after being inspired by a handmade leather bookmark. So more so, forums at GRM have a 5-year, 38-page thread of GRM members showing off stuff they've made, as well as advising others. There's a great accent wall, off-road modified shopping cart,
nice,
a complete teardrop camping trailer built from scratch. You name it, there's someone on there that can build it. It's amazing. So, you're great with our what you're working on, but what other home built, not store-bought creation are you most proud of? Share it. I build all kinds of stuff around here if I can help it. So sometimes though, you look at the how much long it's gonna take and how much time you have, and the time versus money graph, and say, no, bye.
True. And sometimes I'm like, I'm going to end up with the store-bought one. I'm still going to attempt it. I'll learn something. But yeah.
Y'all made fun of my drill organizer, my Ryobi Milwaukee organizer.
Yeah.
I love that thing.
Oh yeah. I think it's great. I can still make a little bit of fun of it, but
yeah, it's not exactly the best piece on the planet.
No, but it totally works though.
We make more fun that you spend a lot of time making this holder when the rest of your garage looks actually like a bomb went off. So that's what I think we make fun of.
Where my impact wrench is.
You can't get to them because there's a bunch of stuff in the way.
Yes.
Yeah. See that rack over there that I can't reach? That would be a
Because
great
there's
place
too
to
much
put my
crap
anime
in there.
back
I
on.
just have to
Yeah.
step over stuff to get there.
Or on
Yeah.
stuff or
Yes.
okay.
Through
All right.
stuff.
Did you say link in the show notes, Chris?
Sure, why not?
Sure.
Everyone knows
I-
that.
Well, yeah, but that's how I know.
I'm gonna be a dirty co-host right now. And if you're watching on YouTube, I snapped this picture.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Look, there's a pathway.
Look, wait, go to
That's-
it. Put it up again. Look, you can see the rack right there.
Yep.
It's a
Terrible.
it's
There
a
is
small
a path.
it's a small picture that
Small path.
actually looks like a bomb went off.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm going to change topics, so I'm no longer
Please.
embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed at all. Despite our amateur endorsing racing pedigree, we love us some F1. Of course we do. We're not alone. We know Drive to Survive has expanded F1's reach in the U.S., but do you know how much? Well, we thought we did until we read this article on The Hustle, but we didn't. The sports American fan base, that's a single sport but possessive, has grown 33% since 2020. In 2021, race viewership on ESPN surged 56%. Tons of people attended races in Miami and Austin, with the later, that's Austin last year, setting an all-time F1 attendance record. And it was a fantastic race besides. But here's the biggest indicator. The 2022 TV rights cost ESPN $5 million. How much did the 2023 rights cost? 2 times, 3 times,
10 times.
5 times. How about $75 million? Holy cow.
That's crazy.
Believe our days of watching it without commercials on ESPN is over. There's no way they're going to continue this, giving it to us for free without any commercials.
25 times the original purchase price.
Holy shnikey.
And how can they not even just charge everybody watching per video? Like we
Yeah.
can't, we get it. I won't even tell you because maybe somebody's listening. We get it through a non-paid source, borrowed source. But anyway, I feel like that's so much money that you're just going to have to figure out how they're going to recoup some of that.
Oh, absolutely. And they wouldn't have spent it if they didn't think they could get it back.
Yeah.
So I think I mentioned
Yeah.
this earlier, but they've already started building the pits here for the Vegas
Yeah.
Grand Prix.
Well, when they start getting tickets, you better get them because I have a feeling that they're going to be very expensive.
No doubt.
Yep.
Yeah. Before we go on, I'll just say Nelson Piquet is an asshole racist, and you can keep going on about your life.
Which apparently Red Bull agrees because they fired another kid for it. So
Go. Oh well, who's got
Anyway.
something to say?
you know who's not racist or a pain in the butt or deserves to be fired?
It's Racing Junk, not my parents. Racing Junk is a fantastic place to get lost. I went to the store on Racing Junk to see if they had anything good going on. So as always, they have a fabulous t-shirt that one that we all love that says "One man's junk is another man's race car" with a whole bunch of car parts all over it. But the thing I want to remind everybody about, or somebody in this vicinity who is in love with their Corvette and will be driving it halfway across the country, and somebody should invest in some Corvette magazine here. There's so many great t-shirts, work shirts, hats. So hint, you might want to get a really cool new Corvette shirt. But also there are so many other brands that they have listed there. So if you're looking for a present, somebody's birthday is coming up, check out the racing gear that they have, or the gear that they have at racingjunk.com.
I'm gonna have to do this. A couple years ago, I bought my wife a hat. Said Corvette hair, don't care. And it disappeared from the back of the Corvette. And of course, she blames me because I'm the only one who rides around without the T-tops. So
You're probably not the person who is wearing said.
no, but they think it just flew out of the back because she had it in the back, and then it
I'm sure it's not that you stole it because
See-
you want to
see-
wear Corvette.
Seeing Jeff wear a hat that says Corvette hair, don't care.
it's kind of funny though.
Actually, it is.
That's what I was getting.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting at. Come on.
I know.
Yep.
I never
let's
go
be
in the
clear.
boat without a hat. So
Yeah, let's be clear. I own a Corvette. I'm not a Corvette fan. I just happen to have one. Okay. Anyway,
Not everybody knows that though. They might think you love it.
no.
You
Okay,
can
every day I
borrow my
can go to
jacket.
pick. Like I can go pick NSX 84 Corvette. which one are you going to pick? Anyway, it seems like the 4th of July weekend is not a popular time to race in most series. Remember Lemons did that one at Sebring a couple years ago and about 12 people showed up.
12 people showed up. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, hey, Champ's going to give it a try. They're going to be at Sebring for a 7x7 this weekend. 59 cars registered, 11 BMWs, 19 Miatas.
That's boring.
2 Hondas, 2 Porsches, and the fun things, an 83 Corolla, a 98 Ford Contour, an 02 Sentra, and a 95 Infiniti J30, which is
Infiniti J30. That could do well, I think.
That's a Z32 in drag, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, that one has done well. It may have won an overall there before. It's very well done. Lasts the entire race, finished strong, well driven.
Cool. Good luck.
Yeah, I think it's good. Recent results.
Hey, Champ is at CMP, or they were on Saturday. Visceral Racing Group on their 944 won the race. Pinky's out. I don't understand.
No, this is what
that is exactly as
read it.
Reads. She got
Pinky's out. Swap 2246 God's Chariot. Apparently,
that's literally what it's listed as
name.
their team name. I just wanted to put it all
right.
down.
Well,
there.
you know what? Hey, that's better than Matt Connolly Motorsports.
Right?
They were in second. And third was Viscelar's other 944, 3 laps back from the scissor car in third. And I think this may be a record of 2 944s in a top 3. I don't know that they need to go buy a lottery ticket or their luck is all gone. On Sunday, Pinky's out crossed 37 seconds before Visceral, and Freddie Mercury's 86 Mercury Capri was 3 laps back.
Terrible.
Yep. The Mercury Marauder came in 25th Saturday and 38th Sunday, and Battle Scarred won their class.
I wonder why Big Sexy doesn't try some of the Champ stuff down there.
I don't think that car would fit the rule set.
Yeah,
it would be running the over
the X class or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lucky Dog was at Portland International Raceway this weekend. On my bucket list, by the way. On Saturday was Giant Motorsports. 2 laps back was Screaming Chicken Racing, and right behind them was Subframe Racers. Good team name, everybody. Sunday, Screaming Chicken took it by 2 laps over Subframe and 6 laps over Purple Haze. Congratulations, all you lucky doggers.
And finally, as previously mentioned, Lemons was at Gingerman. Did have a C3 Corvette. Look for that in the wrap-up video. It was amazing. Legitimate C3 Corvette. It was fantastic.
Was that
overall,
a new build? Because there was an older one. Okay.
No. The older one is like on the BMW chassis.
Yeah.
And this is what they'd been threatening to do for years. So long, in fact, that we thought they were making it up. And if you didn't see the social medias, it was good. Overall was TMMI, which I believe is Toyota Motors in Indiana, and their Uber Stealthy 99 Camry, which Aaron Cole hates because it's got that OEM camo on it. And he can't ever get his camera to focus on it. So he never gets any good action shots of that car. It's a great team.
OEM camo on it?
Like this when they're testing this stuff out here in Las Vegas.
It has like the Dazzle's camo.
Designed prototype. So it's designed to throw off cameras. And Aaron even stopped by and hey, thanks guys. I've never gotten a good shot of your car. Great team. And they got a new driver cooling system, which ironically broke, and they donated their old one. They gave it to the judges and said, find a worthy team, which we did. It was a student team that runs a Honda Accord wagon automatic. And Shane, who works for the Detroit Bus Company, came whatever there and made sure. And he's like, oh yeah, those guys, they've got nothing. So not just a good win. And it came down to the wire. It was them versus Flying Pigs. And they were battling it out till literally the last 10 minutes of the race. Just a class act all the way around. Class B was Mr. Blue in a first gen MR2. It's a father-daughter team. They had an additional driver with them, but it's a really well done. And God's chosen class was the XLR. You
my arms are flapping.
They drove that to and from the track. It's got plates on it. And Aaron and I were on our way to the track on Sunday. And one of the it's just a literally, guy and a girl running that. She was driving from the gas station. And if you've ever been to Gingerman, by the freeway, it's 4 lanes and then it goes down to 2 lanes. And as it was starting to pinch, a new WRX pulled out in front of us and then did not want to give her the lane. And so Aaron and I got a front row seat to watch her totally dust a WRX and take the cut off and get to the track. It was fantastic. Heroic Fix was Unit 32. And they had a old second gen Jetta, but they got Heroic Fix because Rich has actually a GMC Yukon that he uses now for all his lemon stuff. And he needed rear brakes really bad, like going through the paddock would sounds. We asked for volunteers who were looking to curry favor. They immediately step up. They clear everything out of their paddock space. Get Rich's truck, get it all jacked up, pull everything off of it, go to do the pads. Wrong pads. They had to bolt everything back together and then send him to AutoZone to get new pads. And then they did it all over again. Screwed was the finger tight Gremlin. Last year, this thing lost its subframe. It was a good running car until that point, and actually even after that point. But their theme was weak sauce. It was just patinaed, and they had a fantastic Nesquik theme. And they dressed up in costume. They all had rabbits, and including an inflatable rabbit. They got a lap and a half in practice, and the oil got very sparkly. And they elected not to run at all. So they got no laps. They came all the way out with this great new theme. Nothing. Org's choice was.
And if you're going to look for a theme, bizarre mock chocolate milk from my youth is definitely a good one to go for.
Somebody's
if you're all dressed up
theme.
in bunny suits, yeah.
Yeah.
So, organizer's choice was Street Fighters. They had a street-driven 03 manual Accord that they drove up from Cleveland. Raced it all weekend, and then drove it home to Cleveland. One guy, the only time we saw him in penalty is middle of the day Saturday, came in and self-reported because they'd been driving around for 2 laps with their visor up and they didn't want to hurt anybody. They didn't want to get in trouble.
Oh,
You should probably read the rules.
And they did because they passed it. Well, they had one person, the mechanic on the team. And as it came through, Dave from CMP, who does tech on the East Coast, noticed that the kill switch was not within reach of the driver. And they're like, he's like, go get the guy who built it. And the guy who had built it had dehydrated himself so badly during practice day that he was sitting in the back of the car in his underwear with the air conditioning. And they just drug him over here like that so he could explain. He made him move the kill switch, but that was about it. Judges was bad decisions in the Volga. If you haven't seen that, they found a Gaz Volga, put it on an E46 automatic, and then proceeded to destroy a brand new water pump, because that kind of stuff only happens to Michael K. The regional was this wonderful team, Team 22. They brought a Trans Am, by God, all engineering students from Kettering. And knowing, with your many years of experience in lemons, how many times you figured the group of engineering students, how many times it took them to pass tech?
7.
That's a good guess. It's a conservative guess, if we're honest. Chrissy, Jeff, you guys want to?
I was going to say they're students, so I'm trying to give them slightly advantage over working engineers.
Oh, no.
If it was working engineers,
that...
I would have said 10.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to go with 9.
9. That's
going with all day Saturday.
All day Saturday. And every student engineering team that has done this as a project, it has taken them multiple times. First time. They read the rules, and they were them. Yeah. And then they proceeded to cook their 305, spend all night Saturday or all day Saturday, all night Saturday night, putting in the new 305, which also overheated, but then they cut holes in their hood, figured it out. They took the checker on Sunday. Really, really polite team. Great folks. We gave them the regional award of the old college try. IOE was Stranger Danger and the Ruckus Rangers in a bone stock Corvair. And they were worried about their bone stock Corvair not getting through without BS laps. So they put a Jetta TDI plastic manifold cover over it, which was hilarious. We couldn't believe it was like Judge Brett and I were like, there's no way that this thing doesn't have some cheat in there. We go to push on the suspension and we get boingy, 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 boingy.
You know, somebody once said that thing was unsafe at any speed.
Well, that person was wrong because it finished higher than half the field. They were refueling at the pumps. They were not competitive at all. No. And as you may have guessed, the League of Legitimate Nigerian Businessmen, they owned Halloween Meets Gasoline from start to finish. For the last half hour on Saturday, we just had them over hassling anybody that got a black flag in the last 30 minutes. And one of my all-time favorite quotes from them was, "Dude, grass ain't for driving on, yo. That's for smoking after the race." So
if you haven't heard the hip hop songs that they have released,
LOL
and seen the
NB
videos,
Records. It's
yeah, go find it.
they're on the tubes and they're on last week's show notes. It's just a fantastic time.
Yep.
All right.
All right, and we heard you got some actual IRL in real life meet space listener feedback.
So this one actually came directly to me from our last week when we had Jeff Langston from Ranger Road, just one of the members of Ranger Road, suddenly got turned on to our podcast on that one. Said, "Really love your podcast. I've got it set now." So he gets them all the time, and was really enjoying it, really appreciate it. And yeah, and then I got like just a dozen compliments from the always polite folks at Genuine. It's the hippiest of all the races on the lemon circuit, where everyone said that they really enjoyed and they had specific episodes. And if everyone who walked up and said hi, if I was too busy or too wrapped up or trying to hand someone a can of bread, or if I gave you a can of canned bread, I'm sorry if I wasn't nicer to you, but I really did not want canned bread anywhere. And we got a case of it as a bribe. So we gave it all away. But that was it was just a nice, good veteran, after hearing Jeff on our show, went back and listened to a few more episodes and now subscribed. I thought that was great.
Fantastic. Happy to have you. Hopefully we keep your interest.
Do you remember their name?
Oh yeah. That's Joe Q.
Joe Q, welcome. And I'll say
Joe Q and Monday.
Please meet Chrissy's mom, our first listener. Joe Q, our newest listener. Meet Chrissy's mom. Hi.
Hi.
That's a great transition.
Yes.
Because it's
topic time.
It is main topic time.
I can't yell. I'm still got a little froggy in the throat. Hey, everyone.
Topic time.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, that was pretty good.
That was very good.
Mm.
In case you don't know, some of us are managers and we manage human beings, and we are very excited today to do something very management-y, and we are not going to ask you to come in on Saturday and finish your TPS reports. No, we're talking about total quality management, and in an effort to improve our show.
All of my Air Force friends just threw up a little bit.
I know. This is our 250th show. So we think that this is a good time to really talk about an effort to improve the show. So we're going to look back and we're going to look forward tonight, and we're going to invite you all to participate because you are our customers. So since the beginning, we have had the same mantra, which is we will do what makes us happy on this show and meet the people we like who can bring cool stuff to our listeners. And we're really just going to try and be a great show for people like us. And if you like the dick and the fart jokes, great. And if you don't, more power to you. Go listen to somebody else. We've turned down partnerships for groups that weren't really our brand. We do our best not to bring guests just because they have a lot of Instagram followers or whatever. So tonight we're going to find out, how is the show going? Chris, you're a manager. You're into this stuff. Is there anything you want to say before we begin?
Well, I mean, we should have done a proper 360 evaluation and had surveys to then have them in blind groups and then compare and contrast the different.
And then put them all in a spreadsheet so you can see with a color coding.
All right, so the government employee is falling asleep. I just want to throw that one out there right now.
Yeah.
That's how quickly you're losing me.
I mean, we've got government. We live in the world of excitement, really. Government employee, college administrator over there,
state employee,
right? It's right. Insurance manager and safety professional. Like the safety professional is the most exciting job.
Yeah, I was going to say Chrissy has the coolest job.
I mean, I would not call it cool. I mean, it's,
if we opened the show with what happens when a government employee, a school administrator, an insurance manager, and a safety professional get together, even Chrissy's mom would stop listening.
Oh, but no, she wouldn't, because she knows us. But everybody else would say, I don't know about this.
Yeah. Well, I hope after 250 episodes that we have honed our brand But let's talk about it. Let's talk about all the things that we do here. And let's begin with, hey, what is our best on brand topic? If we had a new listener and his name was Joe Q, John Q. I'm sorry, I forgot your name already, sir.
Mr. New Listener.
Mr. New Listener. If you were a new listener, what shows would you have them go back and listen to? Go ahead, Mental. You can start up.
It's shameless, but they keep getting better. And I would say go find the preview episode, the latest preview episode of any track you're about to go to, where we do a track walk.
Yeah. That's a really good one. Talk a little bit about it.
Mhm.
Give us a why.
Well, and because now we've gone to a video medium, and I owe everybody a lot of videos, and I'm sorry about that. But and also just in getting questions after doing these a few times. Chris, who's been an instructor now at most of the East Coast tracks, and we've been to all of them a lot, has gotten very good about the nuanced verbal communications of 3D occurrences that you find on a track. And we've learned phrases, and it's been a real life feedback loop, and his presentations have gotten to be just spot on. And how many times have people come up to us to the track going, oh man, I've driven this track 5 times, but I never noticed this thing until you guys talked about it. Now I'm a half a second faster through there. Or, hey, you're right, New Hampshire does have a boulder, never seen it.
I haven't seen it from the track, I should say. I've seen it in real life. I'm going to go with you there. I'm going to say that if you are someone who does our sport and you're new to the episode and you want to really find out what we're all about, I like the driver training episodes. I like the times when we talk about like weight transfer or really get deep on driver training. And I have a little bit of a reason why, because we had to research it and we had to talk about it and we had to like write ourselves how we would explain it in a completely audio medium. And I think it made me better and gave me a better personal understanding of the topics of things like weight transfer and things like that. So I say, if you're new and you want to learn out who we are, go check out the How to Drive Better episodes.
See, you modified the question from the original note.
You did actually. So that's why I had to go back and answer. I had to go back and redo my answer.
Yeah. It wasn't necessarily someone knew how do you get the feel for the show, is what was our best on brand topic.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And my opinion to that one was the break episode we did after PRI, is we got pretty deep into the weeds and the why, but I still think it was reachable for those who were newer to understand and learn something about brakes, and trying to, because we tried to pass on what we had learned from a really smart brake engineer from Paget, who has forgotten more about brakes than I'm ever going to know. But I learned from listening to that guy. We shared it. I think people got a lot out of it to help improve their own racetrack braking performance. Not just because this guy said so, or because Chris says so. It's here's the why behind the choices.
Yeah, but it's also because Chris said so.
No, sure. I think it was great because I listened to the guy talk to Chris and went, okay, I understood none of that, but I got the answer. You know what I mean? Without understanding the why. But then when Chris turned it into a show, I understood it.
Yep. So I think I'm going on the correct part of this question.
You want to say this is
fine.
A show.
Fine. Okay. So my part I think is good about our show, while we do give technical advice and all that good stuff. I think our funny shows and when we get to reflect, sometimes when we talk back about different experiences we've had and when we laugh a lot, I think it shows our personalities. So I think that they are, sometimes you just want to listen to a podcast because it's funny and you want to hear a lot of people say, or they're just the people that we talk to say, it's like you're hanging out with your 4 best friends and just listening to them talk. So I think those are some of the fun ones to listen to that make our brand great.
Excellent. I'm glad we talked about this. Now we're going to look at our
Did we come back with any feedback? Right. I was going to say feedback, opportunities.
Here comes the opportunities for growth, everybody. So, what are the topics? Again, we're talking about main topics here generally that we have yet to really do or do well, or maybe we tried it and we just didn't get it done right. What are the topics we need to maybe go back and revisit or try again?
I should
wanna-
probably apologize to Brownell for last year, but that's about it.
I don't know if we've done this. If we have, it's been a long time ago. About the art of a track walk is not one we're leading one, but how do you do it yourself and get the most out of it?
I like
think
it.
Interesting.
That
I
could be a
think
good show.
We've
What are you
talked
looking
about it,
for? We,
but I don't think we. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, I think that telling people what kind of things to look for if they're in a track walk that's not with someone leading it, but on their own. Like, how are you looking at things? What do you look for? What are the things to pay attention to? What are techniques, like the little things like scuffing your feet on different spots and seeing what traction's like, or turning around, looking backwards, looking for where the polishes are, all those sorts of things.
Yeah, I think that's great because we have talked about us doing track walks, but I don't think we've ever really talked about the art of the track walk. And sorry,
And
Matt, I'm going to put you on the spot. Oh, go on, Chris.
I say also, there are some early episodes we did when we were worse, which is amazing, but we were. And I think we could revisit some of those early episodes and have a different take, or at least we would be better at our the way we present some of those.
That's interesting.
That's
Because we
rock
do
solid.
tell that don't anybody go to like past 20. Like
Right? Don't listen to episode 8. Right?
No,
Or-
don't start there. We
When
that's what we were
was-
in
when
the
was
same room.
trailer stories.
That's
That's
when we were
all.
when
That's
we
a
used to
great
be in the
topic.
same room. We drank every time we had a podcast because we thought it was hilarious, and then we were like,
Mental
"This
was-
is."
Mental was building structures because he didn't have his microphone on.
Oh, so that was
Oh,
not
boy.
the good times we can laugh about 200, literally 200 and some
250.
40 episodes
Yeah,
ago. Yeah.
absolutely. So, Mental, I'll just ask to just revisit just really quickly. What was wrong with the Bradley show?
I couldn't stop. And I
Couldn't see straight.
I can't really get into it because I don't remember most of it.
No.
But, yeah,
And you just
yeah.
kept holding up the bottle, and we were like, "Oh God,
Oh,
we need
God,
to
he's-
stop." And you're
Very
like,
drunk.
"Well, you're like, just a little bit more."
Yeah, it was yeah.
You
that
were
was
shot
a-
out of a cannon, and the cannon was vodka. I think. I'm not sure.
Tequila, come on.
Tequila, come
was- yeah.
on.
Oh yeah. Oh, totally a tequila cannon.
That's awesome. I'm just really quick. I'm going to bring up that I want to do a show about hill climbs. Write it down. We're going to do a show soon about hill climbs. We have a lot of hill climbs are in the state of Pennsylvania around us. We just had 2 of the most historic hill climbs happen this weekend. So if you're out there and you could teach us about hill climbing, send us an email. Vicious plug. All right.
Just need
Anyone else?
you just need a working RX-7. You can go do a hill climb all on your own.
Our RX-7 for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to say anything about this topic?
With this question, you mean?
This question? Yeah, sorry.
We've been skirting cage building. We've been trying to figure out a good way or talking about it, a possible good way to talk about it. So I think we need some cage building help because a lot of people.
Yeah. And
We've gotten like halfway through.
yeah,
Right.
and John said he would come on and bring us diagrams and visual aids.
I think that's our problem is we have it's a very 3-dimensional problem that it's really hard to talk about in an audio podcast.
Maybe more. We just need the art and describe more about our process. Maybe it's a part of
That's great.
racing, and it'd be
Yeah,
helpful
yeah.
if we talked about it.
Yeah. It's funny because I think we would, and John Pagel obviously on the West Coast has this market totally locked up, but like I think we could do a cage building class. I think we could really teach people, like when Bill came over and said, "Hey, let me watch you build some cage." And then you went to his shop and built some things for him. Like he was like, he's always like that though.
Well,
like,
Bill's very good about
right, watching,
watching,
and writing and learning.
learning, and then applying. He does all 3 very well.
Yeah.
Yes. Annoyingly
So.
so.
All right, let's move on. Let's see here. What is the best part of the show that isn't the main topic, and why?
All right, I'm going to just jump in right away. And we've said this 100 times, but the impetus behind the show was I didn't get these get to see these three people enough in a job that I had. So for that reason, I love what you're working on. Sometimes I know, sometimes I don't. And it's just always fun to catch up with you guys.
Cool.
I will agree. What you're working on is what I think is the best one, mostly because it often sidetracks into other things. Like that's when we end up going not quite off the rails, but onto a sidetrack about something interesting. And then we have to reel ourselves back. But I think some of those conversations are quite interesting about all the other things that we're doing.
I agree.
Not just because I like you guys, but because they're interesting things.
Nice. Chrissy, why don't you go next?
Well, I didn't even get to write this answer, but somebody wrote just a tip is obviously my thing. I also agree that I like what you're working on because I think it gives us time to connect. And I also think our boring BMW has caught on, and it's something that, and this is, I actually had originally, when the first question was something about being our brand and what is our brand, boring BMWs have really, oddly enough, with large crowds, have caught on, and it's true, and it's easy to get buy-in even with people with BMWs. So I think that's part of a good thing from our show.
That's great. I love the closing of the show. I think that the way the method of the show, the rhythm of the show, and after the main topic, it would be too easy to say goodbye, but to give just that little amuse bouche at the end, that little just the tip, or
what did you
around
just
the
call
horn.
it?
Amuse bouche. It's a little bite. It's a little like little dessert. And I think they're always hilarious or always thoughtful. And I just love whether it's around the horn or on the spot or just the tip or goat or no goat or just one goat. I love that. I think it's great.
Here's something we can work on: Jeff's foreign language pronunciations.
Or don't, because they're
Amuse
hilarious.
bouche
And we like to laugh.
It's correct. I promise you. I heard someone else say it this week.
So now it's your turn.
That's
turn.
Right. All right. Back to the opportunities side of the plate. What's the part of the show that we need to make a little better, or maybe just ditch and rethink and rebuild and reprocess? And no, you can't insult me, even though I'm the one that came up with some of the design. What's gone off the rails?
I don't particularly care for news and notes overall, because I think it dates the episodes significantly. It pulls them right to a specific time, and it makes them not timeless, where a lot of the main topics are timeless and can be listened to at any point. And a lot of what you're working on. It's also, yes, it's something we were doing then, but a lot of them involves learning things and doing things, and there's value to those too. But news and notes is like, oh, that's what's going on now. Like you watch old Top Gears, and the news and notes, you're just like, yeah, okay, you fast forward through it.
Interesting.
Good reason to keep them separated on our YouTubes, I think.
That's right. Go on, Metzl, you got something?
The wires.
Please explain.
The wires that run from Jeff's non-existent wireless speaker. I mean, we even almost goofed it this time, and we have tried. I'm known for the microphone thing, unfortunately, not just on this show, but also on some of the wrap-up videos. But it just feels like it's almost on brand for us to make a mistake at the intro.
Screw up the intro of the show.
I'm not going to say screw up, because it clearly becomes, it's obviously an E1R episode, but we just, we get it as wrong as much as we get it right. And it's just always, and it probably helps as much as it hurts. It's like you think you want the perfect wedding until the wedding happens. And then you always want that one little, thing to kind of cement the memory. Yeah.
Cool. Chrissy, you want to go? I'll go last.
Sure. Yeah. I'm saying especially main topics, but multiple places where everything is detailed, and some of us choose to write it all out, because oftentimes we end up with good conversation, and most of it can be done with thoughts on top of your head, with maybe some bullets, and prompts of who's going to say what, so we don't talk over each other. But yes.
So generally when we read too much versus talk.
Yes.
I love that. That's
Shows
great.
are much better when we
When we
talk
just
based on an
converse.
outline than reading a script.
Absolutely. I love that. All right.
Noted.
So here's mine. Race results. I wonder if anybody cares sometimes, especially sometimes when I think it's bulky, especially when it's like double sevens. So we're like, this person came in first and this person came in second, this person came in third, and then on Sunday this person came in first and this person came in second. This it like becomes a very long run-on sentence, and absolutely you want to hear your name if you won. But I like what like Mental's race results today were actually like discussions of the race. And a lot of times I don't think we have that. And I think we just kind of drone on about how many laps somebody was back that we've never heard of and nobody else has ever heard of. And it's funny when we make fun of like Matt Connolly Motorsports, but sometimes it's just a lot of words.
So, and I'm curious, and I'm not, and I'm going to ask you, Jeff, but I also want to ask our listeners: would you keep the upcoming race previews and just get rid of the results?
I like the upcoming race previews.
Okay, all right. Hey, and you know the show's evolving. Listeners, tell us what you think. Should we keep the results or ditch them? Any race that I'm at judging, you're going to hear about just because those are fun stories and I like to tell them.
Absolutely. And those I think are always great. The at the race, what are the interesting things that happened at a race instead of there's a 944 and a Miata and a 944. Like that's
even when we got like a 3-paragraph that we would boil down to 3 sentences, like race report from like Santiago. You know, it was like a race that we didn't know anything about, but we could talk about like it snowed really bad and these 12 Subarus broke and this, you know, like that was intriguing.
Oh,
like
so you would enjoy listener race results.
Yes. I don't want the results. I want the race story.
First party anecdotes versus looking at a spreadsheet.
That's exactly what I'm talking about right there.
Yeah. I say we make an executive decision now that no more race results, but only race stories. So listeners, if you want to hear about the race you were in, you're going to have to tell us about it.
Hey, we're not going to make any executive decisions. We're going to hear from the listeners. We have a prompt coming up. Psst, we can make an executive decision.
Okay,
we just have to pretend we're listening to the customers. So play it cool. We're going to listen to you, listeners. So you're going to have to give us feedback or we're not changing a thing. Next prompt. What's our best guest? So someone who wants to know what our show's about or maybe wants to hear somebody great. Who was our best guest? Round the horn. Go.
I think the Eric Root episodes, you know, there's a bunch of them. Eric he fits right in. You know, we know Eric, we like Eric. He's wonderful. He gets the vibe. He fits in the vibe. He adds a nice, interesting element because Eric's always full of interesting stories and interesting things to say. And I was like hearing that, but he just gels right in with the show. That's why we call him fifth host. So,
and congratulations, fifth host on the nuptials last week.
Yes.
Who else got something? Mental, go ahead.
We got a good response when it aired, and for the life of her, she couldn't understand. And I noticed that and maybe because I was looking for it to a degree, it changed how people regard. But the Kim Harmon episode last 2 years ago.
It's 2 years ago.
2 years ago, after we were all at NOLA, highly underrated, and it gives you a lot of not dirty laundry, but you really do see the machinery behind every Lemons race. And a lot of that machinery falls on her back. And she's a really interesting person if you get a chance to talk to her. So I think you'll go back and listen to the Kim Harmon episode.
Love that. I'll go, then Chrissy can close this one up. I love the lifestyle guests. I love the ones who tell us about forms of motorsports that we don't know much about. Jake Thie was from Out Motorsports, Jeff Langston last week from Ranger Road, Bill Strong from Champ Car. I really liked those because we know about cars and racing and stuff, but they were able to really tell us about something we didn't know. And every time they're here, I'm like, oh my God, I want to do that. I want a Ranger Road t-shirt and I want to go to a Champ Car and I want to go to an Out Motorsports event and, blah, 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 because I'm just excited to hear excited people talk about what they do. All right, Chrissy, you got one? Or are you going to take a pass on this one?
I mean, I like all of our shows. I don't know. I feel like I need to go back and look at the list of, no, like we opened with, we try to really pick hard on who our guests are and try to make sure that they're going to give something to our listeners that they didn't know. And so all of our guests are great. So no, I'm going to pass.
No, there's no answer is still a good answer.
Okay.
Chris is rolling his eyes at me like,
yes,
unacceptable.
Yes, only
All right.
Chris.
What is the guest we still need to get? Name or topic. So it could be a specific person that you want us to interview, or maybe someone who, like, a kind of person or a whatever topic or whatever. Open door. Who should we be looking to book? And listeners, we need you to listen to this list. And if you know them, help us get them on the show. Or if you have an idea, send us an email. Mental, you want to start this one up? Because I love yours.
Okay, so yeah, Jordan Taylor, totally Jordan Taylor. The guys that brought the C3, and when they mentioned they were going to bring it, I said, well, you guys need to be following Jordan Taylor on Instagram, or Rodney Sandstorm or his dog, Fonzie, and they didn't even have an Instagram account. They got an Instagram just to follow Jordan Taylor, and when they brought the Corvette in, one of them is dressed like Rodney Sandstorm, which was epic. We got to meet Jordan Taylor, and I probably embarrassed myself by being way too much of a fanboy while we were all at PRI. I just think he is an endlessly hilarious human being who has been doing this now at a pro level for decades. And he is consistently entertaining, humble, and interesting all at the same time.
Yeah. WeatherTech Pro Racer currently, correct? Right? Is he still in
Yeah.
WeatherTech?
And Le Mans. He's been showing up and running a Corvette at Le Mans every year.
Very cool. And we met him at PRI. I don't remember that. Why don't I remember that?
He was at the Next Gen booth. You might have been someplace else.
No, well, I know Chris and I stood around for a very long time waiting for Mental Stop Geek Boy. Fanboy.
I kind of remember that now that you say that.
I'm pretty sure we were like walked around. We sat in the
Yes.
seats. We were like, "Oh, they have seats." And we sat
And I
in
was
them.
like,
And then
hey,
we were,
look, they've got this blower thing. This is fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we're like, we were waiting around. So I don't know where you were,
that
Jeff.
now that you say it, but yeah, cool. I remember because I would think we were like building the Z at that time. I don't think we had crashed the Z yet. I was geeking out on the Corvette itself. So
It's a long period of time we were building.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, what's
yeah.
before? Which came first is what the game I was playing with in my head.
This is never going to happen, but I think it'd be fun. Toto Wolf.
No, that would not be fun. Toto would tear us to pieces. Why do you want to talk
think
to
he's
Toto
interesting.
Wolf?
I think he's an interesting fellow. I think
I
he's
do
No,
too.
I agree on that.
led a very interesting life, and I think he's been very successful. And for why, like, what's the root behind that kind of success? I'm kind of interested in that from a personal standpoint.
And maybe he would bring, Susie, who could tell me all about her crazy workouts that she does when she was still an F1 driver. And that Kim Harmon episode, incidentally, is episode 183. It was March 25th of 2021.
I think Toto Wolf episode would be like this. Why are you all wasting my time with this stupid show?
Oh,
Or
weird.
That was a
Or
dumb
he-
question I'm not going to answer.
or he finally gets to
The
like
show is a
not have
colossal
all the
F-up.
pressure.
It's like a
and he
colossal
relaxes and
No,
like
Chris,
just
no, I will not answer that question.
he just totally like gives us like 3 exclusives, and then like embarrassingly keeps texting us, hey, when can I come back? It was so much fun. And we're like, oh god, Toto, just dude, you had your moment, let it go.
What's his
Wow.
name from Williams? I think we'd have a chance with him. Or
Nah, Nah, we're
no,
good.
How about
not Williams.
I'm
Totally good.
Steiner.
What's his name? Steiner. That's who I
Steiner,
was trying
yeah.
to think. Yeah.
Maybe.
Anyway,
Anyway.
If we wanted to get abused, we could have Christian Horner on. Boom, said it. Yeah, that's right, I went
I
there.
don't know. I think I'd rather talk to his wife than. Never mind.
It's true. Me too.
Right? I'm sorry.
Oh my God. I would geek
Uh,
out. We would have to have her on too.
Tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
I
Listen,
know. I would
here's
be
what I
like,
want.
oh my God.
Jeff's doing the old man points his glasses at you thing now.
Here's what I want. I
Professor
would love
Jeff.
to have a real grassroots YouTube influencer. I think we could talk about YouTube in a minute, but I also, as much as mental nerded out with Jordan Taylor, I nerded out with Jared Pink, and I would totally like follow that guy if he would come on our podcast. But Colette Davis, we talked about her a couple of episodes ago. She's the one that had the fire in her drift car.
Not to mention, she's an impressive wrench.
Yes, absolutely. All of the people I'm talking about are impressive wrenches. These are not, well, okay, maybe not the third guy. These are people who actually like really do a lot of work and wrench really hard. But I'm also going to throw out a wild card here because I know he's kind of in the area, and someone we're talking to probably knows him. The regular car reviews guy. I love this dude's YouTube channel. I know we know friends of his.
We've had Ike on the show.
No, that's a different dude.
No,
not Ike.
Yeah,
No,
you're thinking of Ike from the Fiero guy. He's thinking of regular Joe. The literally, regular reviews.
Regular car reviews on YouTube. It's a voice. It's a non-person. You don't see him. He's just a voice. I mean,
Well, you do
every
see him
now and
because
then.
he does the in-car when he actually drives the
Yes,
cars.
Yes.
Yeah.
He recently did a Gambella E30 review that is absolutely hilarious. It went to Radwood. It's a car that's not supposed to exist. Go find that. Hilarious.
Hilarious. Okay.
He wants to drive an 84 Corvette. We've got something for him.
Probably has. And he's like in Pennsylvania, somewhere, Eastern Pennsylvania somewhere. So
We have an 84 Corvette. Maybe once.
and he made fun of Steph. Like, how awesome is that? Like, you know what I mean?
For like a year, then he went and drove her car.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
exactly.
Oh, I mean, that'd be nice. Yeah. I get
All right,
it.
Chrissy, who do you think we should interview?
Oh, I would love a like famous lady racer. There's a couple of them out there that would be great. Somebody that does bigger and better things than we could ever dream of.
Cindy Lux, Lynn St. James. Who else?
Oh,
am I
I mean,
missing?
that's. Oh, I
Susie
was.
Wolf. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I was going lower, like people that are pretty close to, endurance racing. Pippa, Sarah
Pippa
Montgomery.
Man would be
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wait, how have we not had Amanda on yet?
Amanda who?
Tully.
Oh, I'm talking. No. Okay.
Okay, so that's lower. I give me a scale here. Yeah, Cindy.
I think
Lux,
Pippa
all right,
Man
yeah.
is huge. I would love
Yeah,
Pippa Man.
that-
Yeah.
Oh, Pippa Man. All right, yeah.
Yeah,
That's where I was going.
absolutely.
Okay.
All right. We got another one coming up here. What is the one area, total wild card, that we could improve or something we could capitalize on that we're not capitalizing on?
I am completely screwing up this YouTube thing because it takes longer to make these than I think it does. And I chose the worst time of year to do it. But when I get it figured out, I think we're all going to be happy.
It's interesting. I said,
When will that be?
I said something
Right about the
similar.
time the RX-7 gets finished.
Right? Or we build the Z.
So,
I'm just kidding.
No, the Z is
I'm
going to
just-
be gone. I actually
Just
said
kidding.
the same thing. I think we have a very tight and good, like, we know exactly what we're attempting to do on the podcast, the audio podcast. I don't think we really know what we're trying to do on YouTube. I don't think we have a real good plan. I don't think we use Zoom because I'm a lazy son of a bitch and I don't want to learn a new platform. But there are more visually pleasing, literally if I just learned how to use different pieces of software, like Apex Adjacent, I think they do a really good job on it. But it was always
I
an
have been
afterthought.
studying with the Durf as a Nation, Rami show, John Polnick guys. And so I have made an episode, not of this show, obviously, learning that stuff. So that is it was on the horizon, but given your input, I'll move that up.
No. I mean, it's not. There's nothing wrong with what we're doing because we were an audio podcast first. YouTube was some people say they want to watch at their desk, so let's just throw it on YouTube since Zoom captures it anyway. We we didn't really go at it with a plan like we did with the podcast itself. We had a plan and we stuck to it. So I think that's what we got to do. Make a plan.
You guys do all that. That's wonderful. My level of enjoyment and my level of effort, I think this is the happy point on the curves where they cross for me, and that I've got enough else going on that I don't know that additional effort to this is going to increase my level of enjoyment for this. But you guys want to do it? Cool. I'm along for the ride.
He says that, yet he's the one that does most of the research when we have tech topics.
Well, it's because I think that's interesting.
But that's great.
Well,
everyone to their strength.
And that was where I was going to go with this.
Totally.
And I think that has been an unintended strong point of both the race team and this show is Chris being the manager who actually studies management and all this and how to be effective on this, has figured out how to surround himself with people that complement each other's abilities and styles. And if you look at the complement of the Three Pedal Mafia, it's
The happy action.
none of us,
is what it is.
none
It
of
just all
us
worked
would
out.
have. Well, yeah, but none of us
tried.
would have ever
It's
met.
not that much of an accident.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say it's an accident either, because there are people that it just didn't work. Hey, it's been really fun. Be someplace else. And then other
I'm
times,
delighted.
you know what? It wasn't fun, and you're going to definitely need to be someplace else, kind of a deal. And then, but it to that end, and I think, Jeff and I nerd out on the social media aspect of it, and Chris nerds out on the research aspect of it, and Chrissy, for so many things, is our
Doesn't do shit.
no. You're the quality
fine.
checker in
Whatever.
so much of you, whatever it is, it's you guys have gone way too far down this rabbit hole. This is stupid. And we're beyond the point of diminishing returns. And then at the same time, you've got the technical ability to lead this show through a technical topic that doesn't necessarily have to do with cars, but it's still an essential function
It's all
to a
good.
racing
It's all
team.
good. Stop. I'm good.
All right. Am I digging a hole? Because I'm not trying to. All right.
You're
No,
yep.
nothing at all.
So, but no, so that I think that, Chris says, I have found my happy medium at this point where these two things cross, and Jeff and I live over here with this nerdy social media crap. Yeah. We all bring something different to this,
Yeah.
not just hair.
I don't bring any hair.
We bring different levels of hair.
Yes. Exactly. Oh, there you go. I'll take that. I have some gray ones.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Anyway, everyone said their piece on this one. Open door to talk about anything. This is the time I have learned in my counseling classes to be okay with silence.
It also doesn't make good for good pod though.
Counseling class, podcast, parallel, because those two things will never meet.
When I teach my class, you have to be okay with silence.
Oh,
It's-
totally.
Yes.
Any kind of
and-
facilitation. You throw the bomb out there. You let
Did
it
you
float.
did you
you
like
wait.
did you like that? Yes, and
Yes, and
yes,
Love that.
and
Tell
right.
me more.
Right. Why do you think that? I'm sure there's things we can work on, but depends on
wants
how much
to-
we want to try.
who wants to make the call to listeners?
Oh,
Who's gonna read that slide?
You don't have to read it. Just say what you want to say. Listen, listeners, it's your turn now.
That's it.
There's my silence. We'll be
You're
posting.
asking for them to respond.
No.
Well, it's later. It's not now.
meanwhile,
Right
they're
now-
all yelling. They're all yelling.
They're all
at their
yelling
car
at their
stereo.
radio.
They're going,
Are you
why are they
serious
talking?
with this
Listen,
crap?
We are going to be posting all of these sets of prompts to you on our social media accounts,
Oh,
and we want to
gosh.
hear from you. What are your favorite parts of the shows? What can we improve? What do you want us to do more of? What do you want us to do less of? This is all about quality improvement and listening to our listeners. Don't worry, Mental. We're still going to make the decisions.
Or not.
Or not.
You act like we're in charge.
Ah, whatever.
We are in charge.
Around the horn time. I had 2 questions that I don't want the listeners to respond to, so I put them here.
Which
You
is way
sound all, like,
better than the
mischievous,
one I
like-
had, which was Haggerty's 10 most dangerous tools in your garage.
We do that one next week.
Well, 3 of them are angle grinders. That's for sure.
What's
With or without guards?
true?
Oh,
Exactly.
okay. All right.
Oh my God, I'm so upset.
All right.
Did I tell you that I cut my favorite? I cut the cord on my favorite angle grinder. We
Did
can
you
talk about
just
that
cut
later.
it?
Just
No, it got a nick in it and it stopped working, and I
Tie
have
put
to
them back
Stop.
together.
It's a
Stop.
$9 10-year-old Harbor Freight
Stop.
grinder, but it's my favorite.
Excuse me, am I the
Anyway.
only one that's curious how it got a nick in it? Did it
Well, how
get
do
a
you
nick from
think?
itself?
Zoop.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know how that
It
doesn't
launched
happen?
out of my hand,
is if
cutting
you
aluminum
put the,
plate.
you put the damn
Oh,
guard,
gosh.
put the guard on it.
Wait, we were doing around the horn, not on this
I'm sorry.
subject.
Totally different topic.
We could
What is
race
the
angle
funniest
grinders.
story or the best on-brand story we've ever said on the podcast? Go around the horn.
What? What's the best
What's
story?
the best story we told? The most funny thing that made you laugh the most?
Well, this one was pretty funny. Stories when you have runaway angle grinders. Kind of
like
funny.
doing belt sander racing. Ready, set, go.
I feel like we have to be more specific, like, oh, which story of Jeff's runaway angle grinder? Yeah.
Any story where my cheeks hurt? How about that?
Some of the story times we've had have been pretty funny.
I know.
Yeah,
why I
Well,
asked
it's
you.
mostly
Throw
just
one out
here's
there.
the things we did wrong.
Yes. Is there one you love?
The
How do you pick
trailering,
one?
the trailering episodes when we all started telling stories of our trailering fails.
That was a good
Oh.
one. That's what
We
could
didn't have
record
enough
as a-
room for all mentals. Like
No.
that's it.
Well,
No.
now we
Well,
have
and,
way
and I
more.
picked up a couple of more.
Right?
Put that on the topics to revisit. I'm gonna say the entire post-race discussion of when we went to Lucky Dog on the West Coast, 3 out of 4 of us because Mento couldn't make it. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. We went to fucking Laguna. We love California. It was us 3 pretending to be a throuple because we didn't want to get thrown out of hotels. And
That was when we
We-
did the leak
we
dance
did
with your
one
socks.
goddamn hour on the car before it got blown up, and then we changed the motor for the next 12 hours. Chris was so drunk he like literally passed out or tired.
The combination. actually.
Combination
Yeah.
that he
Yeah,
passed
I
out
was gonna say,
like
you're
on
saying
the
same
hotel
thing,
room
but yeah.
door. Go
That's
find
right.
the
I
episode.
forgot about that
That's
one.
hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I wasn't even thinking about the leak dance with my socks.
Right? The leak dance with your socks.
The least sexy striptease ever.
In like the first 10 minutes we were there, some guy at the In-N-Out Burger tried to beat me up. I mean, everything about that trip was absolutely hilarious.
I'm glad you remembered that one. That one's good. I like that. I think there's I like where you're going with this. I think there's recollections of stories with either 3 or 4 of us, or with a other group of friends. Because I'm coming back to Barber when the 4 of us went. We have that one picture of us. That's when we laughed really hard about
Red heels in Greece.
Brad Hales in Greece.
Grease.
And so,
Amsa.
right.
Oh yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying, right? So there are times when I think there's so many of us
It's a bit
together.
dry.
Liquor ball sandwiches.
He gets 2 or 3 liquor ball sandwiches in him. He's gonna kick your ass.
Oh, he's bad on the
I'm
chin.
scared of him when he's in the liquor ball sandwiches.
Oh, and I was like, this is the stupidest show. Yet when we say it's hilarious.
Hilarious.
So I'm gonna say
Oh.
when multiple of us are together, stories of recollections of that, and that is nothing to do with everyone racers.
There you go. Mental, you sticking to trailer time, or you got something to say?
No, yeah, because this one could go off the rails. But I think Chrissy just box, because you have your go-to stories, but then you have stories that you forget about until someone tells a story that reminds you of a detail of something, and we're very good about spurning on each other's stories. So she's right.
All right. Turnaround is fair play. What is the one story that you have in your brain that is not podcast ready that you may never tell on the podcast, but find us in the paddock and we'll tell you. And I'm going to open it up right now and say that when we had the boat dressed up as a pirate ship and we had the inflatable doll on the front of the boat, I nearly crashed the car. Yes, Chris is doing the motion. I nearly crashed the car laughing so hard. It is the greatest story, and I will never tell it on the podcast because it is too dirty.
No. Oh, that's a great. Well, see, this is why when you write your own, just the whatever this is, you end up with, because you had a vision of it. You had a good story to go with it. A vision of it. Yes, you did.
Oh, I did. I got a vision of it.
Oh,
I put some prompts in there if you can't.
I don't know. I don't know if it's just the one story, but I would venture a guess that 90% of, 80% of stories we will never tell on this podcast occur in Atlantic City.
Yeah, it's totally fair.
I mean, sure. Yes.
Totally fair.
Yeah.
We will totally tell you those stories in the paddock because they're great.
I still have a toenail from like 5 years ago that has not healed itself completely.
I might have fallen asleep on a dining room chair in the middle of the paddock. Atlantic City. Oh my God. There's so much good in Atlantic City, or bad.
Yeah, everything's terrible in Atlantic City except the fun we have.
Yes,
with each other.
And we have no racing to do. All we do is eat and drink, literally the whole time.
I feel like that's when we get our revenge on Bruce, because he's like focused and he's ready to go.
I don't know about that.
And it's like 1 o'clock and we're housed.
Right. We woke up that way and then we just started again. Oh, there's a lot. I think most times at a racetrack, there's a lot of stories that happen after the race goes cold. That
Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
all right. You can plead the fifth, everyone.
The other stories, they're going to come to me, like Michael said, when something prompts it.
When something prompts it. Well, none of us even began a story with that time pantless Matt and then like had to change the topic. So
everyone knows those stories. Come on.
Oh, I don't know about all of them, but
that's true.
He's got a few.
All right. Do we have anything else we want to say about this? Do we know what we're doing next week?
We do.
Yay!
I know. We're about to enter a period without Mental because he's going to be working, right?
Oh wait, he's still here. He's not.
So we're gonna have a series of co-hosts.
We're gonna kick off.
Sorry. Hello. So it work now?
Yes, you're good now.
Okay, good. We're gonna kick off our co-hosts, several episodes with Kurt from Terminally Confused. You usually can see him leaning over a big green egg in a kilt at CMP. So he's gonna get
the whole wide world.
Yep. We're gonna talk about whatever Kurt wants to talk about.
Barbecue.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
I'm sure we'll talk about his butt at
Kilts.
least a little bit. Yeah.
All
We'll
those
find
fun
Killer
things.
kilts.
Tiny little Hondas.
Yep.
Maybe.
Sure.
Who knows?
The Jazzy.
Well, this is awesome. Listeners, seriously, we want your feedback. Hit us up on all the social medias or email us. Answer any of the questions we talked about today. Favorite parts, things we need to change, things we can improve. And also, as always, thank you for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We also hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. Then go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. Even if you hated us, give us 5 stars and tell us why. If you have any questions or we already said this, talk to us on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can even talk to us right down there in the doodly-doo if this thing ever gets to YouTube right down there. Or you can text MENTAL 484-243-0455. That number again, 484-243-0455. Instagram or Twitter, everyone.racers, YouTube, Facebook, Everyone Racers, Reddit, /E1R. Somebody talk to us on the Reddits. That would be awesome. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up Unless there is no shiny side because you're part of this podcast, then just keep those wheels down.